You are that valuable to live your best life. As our generation likes to say, you mean that much.
Yes.
So operate and live your life as such. And that goes for your mental health, because what people don't necessarily realize, when your mind is in a great place, in a healthy place,
Hey friends, today's episode is brought to you by Living Your Truth, a motivational memoir, the second release of the Not Posted series. I am so excited and I want you to join in on the excitement. Head over to the link in the show notes and pre-order your copy today. This summer release is one for the books, literally. Can't wait to have you read, see your reviews, and watch the healing process take place.
Hello.
Right, guys, it is episode number 22 of She Thought She Could, So She Did podcast. This month of July, we are focusing on minority mental health, ways to identify with if you have an issue or if you just need to give yourself a little more self-love. We're going to talk about tips. We're going to talk about how lifestyle and travel and all these things can help your mental well-being. We are just going to be recognizing, appreciating, and embracing mental health and how it affects us as minorities. So for a personal account, I have a mother who has been diagnosed, who was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia when I was 9 years old. I've served as a caretaker for the vast majority of my life, and I've seen everything from confusion to delusion to illusions to manic episodes. I mean, literally flipping out, to just times where she would not speak, and all types of the spectrum. On the positive side, I've also seen very high functioning, happy, driving, loving, living, thriving. So I come from a very unique space of having to grow up and learn and do the research and become the advocate for someone who did not have a voice. And so that's a very interesting space. On the reverse end of that, I have subconsciously placed myself in a spiritual network of people who believe in holistic well-being, who believe in multiple practices of channeling energy and aligning yourself with yourself so that you can be well. And so I just promote healthy living from the inside out, not just physical health, but also mental health, because let's just say, bipolar, anxiety, depression, that isn't your thing. There still is a mental makeup of you. And if your mental health isn't well, you will see that either positively or negatively affecting other facets of your life. And we want that to be positive. We want our mental health to be a booster for the rest of our life. We do not want it to be a drainer. So today's guest, Miss Rayana Briggs, she is on the surface and inside, but I'm gonna let you see what I mean by that. But on the surface, just popping, as the young folks say. I mean, she's in a sorority, she's in college, she's an African American theater major in the South, so that's probably like the 0.5% or something like that. She gets a lot of likes on her photos. She's well loved by many people. She can dance, she can sing, she's beautiful. All of these great attributes. She comes from an awesome family. But she suffers with anxiety and depression. And guess what? It's okay to not be okay. She is still all of those phenomenal things. And you are about to hear a splash of her story and how dealing with mental health has affected her. And she's still a very young lady. She's a senior at Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and she is still pressing her way through life. But she is going to be very transparent about when the season of, I guess you would say, peak recognition or realizing or whatever, identifying with the fact that it's okay to not be okay. It was a rough season. There were challenges. There were humps and bumps and ups and downs, because there was a sense of confusion. Why don't I feel like I used to feel? Why am I not happy to be around people? What is wrong with me? Why am I not going to class? Why am I questioning if I should be alive? So enjoy, embrace, and take notes of this conversation, because maybe it's not you, but maybe it's someone you know. Maybe it's not you, but maybe you need to take a deeper assessment of your self-care and your mental well-being so that you can continue to keep it balanced. So enjoy this interview and I'll be back.
Call is now being recorded.
All right, Miss Rayana, we are so excited to have you as a guest. So first I want to say thank you.
Oh, no problem at all.
Yes, so let's just kick it off by you giving us some background information. Where are you from? Tell me about your schooling, how you were growing up. Just let us get to know you on a more personal level before we dig into these really deep questions.
Yeah, okay, well, my name is Rayana Briggs. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, and we're in the house, LOL. But I'm a graduating senior at Winthrop University, where I'm studying theater. I'm a minor in psychology. I'm a very radiant person. I love people. I love interacting with people. I'm just a people person. That's kind of the best way to explain me. I love being involved in different community projects. I just love being around other people. I'm just that type of person. People? I really have. Honestly, I think that comes from me being a performer. Like, I really started performing when I was 3. And just me always being in front of crowds and then interacting with people after my shows. I've always been in me to be around people and to be in front of people. So I've honestly been that way. I've been that way my entire life. Of course, some things have happened where that, altered my opinion about being around people, but we'll get into that just in a little bit. But overall, like, who I am as a person, I absolutely love being around others. I really do.
Awesome. That's amazing. So, with that being said, were you around people or feeling that you did not want to be around people? Kind of give us some background as to what happened that made you kind of realize that you were feeling a little different as it related to your mental health.
I realized that I was different in regards to my mental health when I realized that I didn't enjoy the things that I used to enjoy, which includes being around people. Like, for example, I love acting, I love singing, I love hanging out with my friends. And when I realized that I didn't want to pick up a microphone, didn't want to pick up a script, didn't even want to answer the phone when my friends are calling, I wanted to stay in my room, in the bed. And that's one thing about me. People know I cannot stand being bored in the house. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be on the move. Like, what are we doing? I don't care. I want to hang out. When I realized that I didn't want to do those things or those things didn't excite me, that's when I realized that something was different about me and my essence, because my whole essence was changing. And I noticed that.
Wow. So what challenges did that bring? I know you're like vibrant and you know a lot of people and you're a college student and you're in a sorority and you're in theater, which is very rare for, African American females, especially in the South. So with all of those great things going on, what challenges did that bring into your life once you identify with the fact that you weren't well mentally?
One of the things that I know is very important and vital in my life is my voice. And I use my voice, again, in regards to singing or acting on stage or speaking in front of an audience or having, like, face-to-face conversations. When I realized that it was very difficult to even do those things, that's another thing that I realized. Even when I tried to force myself to do the things that I love, it became difficult to do. I would become so overwhelmed with having conversations, my words, I couldn't formulate my thoughts and articulate my thoughts the way I wanted to. I would just get so nervous, and then things got even worse where even the thought of being around people or the thought of speaking in front of audiences or the thought that, I have to portray this character, those thoughts allowed the rest of my thoughts to just race. And that was very difficult to live with. Very, very difficult. And it also messed me up in regards to my academics. I couldn't go to class. I couldn't leave my apartment. It was hard for me to study. And that's another thing. I'm all about scholastic and staying on top of my schoolwork and maintaining my relationship with my professors. When when it was hard for me to do that, it was just I was hitting rock bottom. I really was. So those were really the main challenges with and I didn't even get to say that what I battle with is major depression and anxiety disorder. So with those two, like that's what those are my challenges with anxiety and depression.
Wow. Well, I just commend you for being just brave enough to walk in that and to be able to share that and to be able to talk about the challenges, because this is something that in our community is silenced a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you're too young for that, or you can just get over it or just sleep it off, and that's really not the case. So I definitely commend you, and then I countered that with asking, what, if any, advice would you give, a young lady who's identifying with similar issues and kind of seeing that the things that she loved or liked aren't making her happy anymore? She's feeling uneasy around crowds, and things just seem a little more abnormal than the average headache or the average day. Because we all have days where it's
Absolutely.
like, I don't want to people today, and then the next day you're fine. But what happens when that's 3 days, 5 days, 7 days?
Mm-hmm.
So what advice do you have for that person who is currently struggling, but is just in a sense of the struggle ball and does not know what to do?
The first thing I would tell her is everything that she's experiencing, going through, or coming across in her life, she's not abnormal at all. Everything that she's experienced has been documented and been studied for years. Like, you are not, or what you're experiencing is not taboo. There are so many men and women who battle the exact same things that you do. And I think when we start to realize that what we're facing is tangible and we're not the only person that has experienced or dealt with this, that's when you can fix it. Or that's when you can do the work to be in a better place. And that leads me to my next advice, to do your research. When you get to a place where I don't want to feel this way anymore, I don't want to be confined to my bed, I don't want to keep canceling appearances or canceling speaking engagements, or I don't want to keep allowing this to hold me back from the place that I know and God intends for me to be. Sorry that I'm going there, but I'm going there. When you have that mindset, you start doing your research, you can find so many different counseling options, or you find your own sense of healing. Listen to podcasts like the one that we're on now. If going to church helps you and you identifying with those problems, that helps, do that. Do whatever you have to do to get to the place where you want to be. So fight for your life, fight for your happiness, fight for your peace of mind. And I know for me, I started to be very selective as to what I allowed in my space. I had to figure out what was causing me to be depressed. What was the root of me being anxious? And when I got down to the root of it and I started doing the work, my life started to change. And I know that if I did it and all the different people that I came across that had the exact same experience, if they did it, then so can the same girl that's listening to this podcast.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't be afraid.
I think I was
very...
Yeah, you said something that really resonated with me, like, with having certain feelings and, but what do you do when it starts turning into, 3 days and then a week? And I know for me, it turned into an entire year year of going downhill. So like I said, when I made that decision, I said, okay, I have to fight for my life, and I'm not going to allow this to overcome me. I'm not going to allow this to stop me from going where I know I need to go. So, yeah, that definitely resonated with me. When you start realizing that this is prolonging, but let's go ahead and do the work now, so we don't have to prolong it or prolong our healing journey even more.
Wow, that's deep. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for highlighting the doing your research piece. Because just like when you have any other physical issue, you and your family, you all become invested in figuring out what's wrong and how to cure it. And that is what you have to do with mental health. You have to, in order to fully understand what's going on with you and your mind, and knowing that it is okay to not be okay. That it's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's okay. So now, might I ask, how are you today? How are you now? What are your steps towards maintaining a, healthy mental health profile? Just how are you? How you doing, girl?
I'm doing good. Let me tell you, when giving advice, especially in regards to this topic, I like to always laugh when I think about my story, and I just say, just wait until you make it to the other side. When you make it to the other side and you enjoy life again, and things that used to make you happy, you have that joy and then some again, Like that's what happened. I am genuinely happy. I'm not happy because I'm forcing myself to be. I'm not saying I'm happy because it's like, oh, that's where I want to be. I know that's the place I need to get to. It's genuinely in my heart because I'm finally at peace. I started doing the work, and now I see the fruit of that. And like I mentioned before, I've adapted the mindset that if it's not conducive to my healing and my well-being, then it's not allowed in my space. And I'm very particular and specific as to what and who I allow in my space, because my space is valuable. And it took me a very long time to get here, so I'm not going to let anything or anyone or allow myself to go back to that place at the hands of anything or anyone or any situation, And I think that by me adapting that mindset, I am genuinely at peace. I really am. Listen, like I said, I fought for my life, I fought for my happiness, I fought for my peace, and I fought for my sanity. And I said, by you doing the work, you can get there because I got there,
Wow.
So I'm very grateful.
Get there. Yes. And that's, and another part of, I can never express how grateful I am for you being so open and honest about the situation, but also not be conforming to being the person that, oh, I got out of that and you can just get over it. You got to figure it out. But being transparent with sharing your story so that it can help someone else.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that I want to reiterate. No one can tell you how long your healing journey should be. No one can tell you how long it takes for you to get over a situation. Like, everyone has to live through those experiences, But I do find it beautiful by me and other people sharing their stories and allowing other people to look at their situation and notice that it's tangible. It can jumpstart their healing journey as well,
Yes, exactly.
Everyone's sorry, go ahead.
No, I continue, but I'm just saying it can help someone to realize that it's okay to heal.
Exactly. And it's also a beautiful thing where you can listen to one story and take what, 2 or 3 things that she did that worked for her, and then listen to someone else's story, or through their research and take 2 or 3 things from there, and putting together your own remedy for healing,
Yes,
exactly. I think that's something that we all should remember. We all experience things. We all heal at our own times, But as long as we're healing, as long as we're moving forward, we're not remaining stagnant and just remaining in that chaos and in that place,
Yes, and you said something good. Oh my goodness, the gems that you are dropping right now in your own time. So you may have been in sorrow for a year and it take you 6 months to heal. It may have been 5 years and it take you 40 years to heal. It may be a few weeks and then it only takes you a few days and then you're right back to being yourself. But let your journey be your journey and don't compare your situation to others, because just because you struggle from something similar, that still does not mean your genetic makeup is the same. It does not mean that your struggles are the same. And it doesn't mean that what else has occurred in your life is the same. And another thing is allowing yourself to heal. This kind of speaks to a book that I've just finished reading, Healing While Grieving. Also Healing Wounds of the Soul. They're both by Reverend Angel Livingston. She is amazing. I will put those book links in the show notes. But when I tell you those books snatch your life, and let you know that it is okay to grieve. It is okay to ball up in your bed or on your floor, in your car, and just grieve. Let the pain go, because we, especially the strong black woman theory, you got to snatch yourself together and you can't be down and that's a sign of weakness. No, it is actually strength. It takes strength to be silent, to be still, just to let your body and your mind decompress what has happened. It is like we will bury people, we will lose friends, we will lose jobs, we will fail classes, we will do all types of things and then just feel like we're supposed to snap back into life like nothing happened. No.
Exactly.
No. You have to allow yourself time to cope and time to grieve and time to heal. And there is no one time on that. It is not, oh, you need a day or two and you better. You may need time and you may need to be alone and be still. So take that time and take these gems and just heal. Well, Rayana, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your transparency. And I want you to leave our listeners with one last word, quote, saying something to just ponder on as it relates to mental health and well-being. We are celebrating Minority Mental Health this month, and I want you to leave us with a word before we end this podcast episode.
If anyone doesn't get anything from this podcast, the main thing I want viewers and listeners to take is the fact that we are human, and as human, I'm so glad you said what you said. As humans, we are allowed to feel. And I feel oftentimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get over things that have happened to us, or we try to, brush things off as if we are not human, and we have hearts that break. We have minds that can be affected. And when you take the time to feel what you feel, analyze whatever happened, and to move forward, you can do it because you owe it to yourself and because you are that valuable. You are that valuable to be at peace. You are that valuable to live your best life. As our generation likes to say, you mean that much. So operate and live your life as such. And that goes for your mental health, because what people don't necessarily realize, when your mind is in a great place and a healthy place, that transcends different areas into different areas in your life. So start with yourself. Start with your mind. Start with your well-being. Why? Because you're that important. You're that valuable.
Yes, you matter. You matter.
You matter.
Thank you, Rayana. Thank you.
Anytime, girl.
Wow. Yes, thank you.
Wow. Rayana. Whew. What a story. What a testimony. What just a transparent moment of a young African American female thriving on the outside, but just having a time of turmoil and just misunderstanding and anxiety inside. So I commend this young lady, and I've said that during the interview, and I'll say it 1,000 times. I commend her for not being ashamed to tell her story so that it can help others. And this is not by far a religious platform. However, I am a person who definitely relates with spirituality, and I just must say that there is power in talking about what you've gone through in order to help someone else heal, because there is a strong possibility that you didn't go through it for you. You may have gone through it for someone else. So I hope that this episode did something for you, even if you don't identify with having any relation to depression, anxiety, or bipolar or anything like that, but you know that there are people who do, and you recognize and appreciate the importance of mental health. Plenty people think about Relay for Life and donate, and they don't know a soul with cancer, and they haven't had cancer. There are plenty of people who donate to March of Dimes and were not premature. There are plethora of folks who give to the Red Cross and they don't need blood. So think about that when you think about mental health. It may not be advocacy for you, but it may be for the next person, especially as it relates to our minority folks and our low socioeconomic folks. We do not deal with things in the same way, because let's just face it, my great friend, and we not friends, but in my mind we are, well, actually he's my Uncle Tyler Perry. He says, Johnny may be able to just go to the golf course and chill and talk about things over tea and take a year off work. Well, that's not everyone's narrative, and you may have grown up in a home where you were silenced and the child's voice didn't matter, and then became an adult where the voice didn't matter. And that is a mental makeup issue when you feel that you're silenced, or maybe you saw a lot of abuse or a lot of hardship, or maybe you saw financial struggle, so you think that that's normal. So let's just think about some things that pour into our mental makeup. Just because you aren't being diagnosed with a disorder, there are some steps to self-care and some steps to healing while grieving. And I mentioned some books while on that interview with Rayana, and I will be sharing those in the show notes because it matters. There is research out there is support out there, and there are professionals out there that can help. So before you invest in foolishness, invest in yourself and invest in well-being. So until next time, I am getting off and I'm about to go take care of myself. And so I will see you next week for episode number 23. Stay tuned for the greatness, and I can't wait to be in your earbuds. Have a great one. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Did you enjoy the She Thought She Could, So She Did podcast? Whether this was your first time tuning in or you are a loyal listener, I need a favor. Help a girl out, okay? I need you to rate, review, and share this podcast on your favorite social platform. So right now, take a screenshot, let someone know that you're listening, and then go back to wherever you listen to podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, or Apple Podcasts, and leave a review. Let the world know how great this content is and how much you enjoy tuning in, because the more you tell people, the more people are getting this podcast in their earbuds. So you're like helping me, but also helping someone else. So it's all working together, okay? Because unity matters. So I'm talking to you. Until next time, have a good one.